narcissist is not growing up today, tonight, tomorrow, next month, um, next year. That vacation y'all plan when it's supposed to fix the relationship, and then when you get to the vacation, they be like, "Oh, it was cool," so they push the goalposts even more, you know, renewing vows. That's when they supposed to grow up. When they go off and find themselves for that break, however long that break is, you know, uh, yeah, the narcissist is not growing up. They're not. A lot of times, these habits that they display is something that's just been reinforced since they were kids, man. To be honest with you, like at first you don't really notice it because you just think that it's a part of them. It's this is how they are. We knew how it was before we got with them and all these things and sorts. But the reality is like it's just a lot of unchecked behavior. A lot of people were too scared of the narcissist just because of the tantrum tantrums that they throw. They go from tier one, tier two, tier three, tier four. It really ain't no tier two. It's really from tier one to tier three. Tier three is you just let it happen. You just act like it'll calm down itself. Tier four, you kind of negotiate. But sometimes when you miss, it's out of control. It's even more. It's even worse. You gotta let them go off and calm themselves back down to tier one. You know how they do when they disappear and all that, man. When the phone is at the friend's house and it took this long time and they couldn't, and they would sleep over here at another person's house, so they couldn't get over here in the car ride. All the crazy nonsense of a child that you gotta maintain and just deal with. It's wild to me, and you'll even notice it the most when you see them in front of people that be close to them or even their family and how they be talking to them and just the wild vocabulary that they have and the wild behavior that they have, and nobody says anything, and when you try to hold them accountable to something, they're blowing it up, and then they got to blow up an insecurity about yours and then make that the center of attention. What I'm saying? Gaslight you, make you think that this argument is your fault for bringing this up. It's your fault we even talking about this to begin with. We didn't have to talk about this if you just kept it to yourself. That's how they be. It's just this is the child behavior in them, how they play this game. It has to be a game every single time, some sense of uh, competition, about any and every single thing. That's why they gotta manipulate you and get you and cheat on you first before you get them, because they think you're gonna get them. Because they've always had to be this way. Because it's always been okay to be this way for however long that was. Unchecked behavior. Straight up. They won't even consider the right way of things for real, for real. They are if you with a narcissist, sorry, I'm kind of sick. If you dealing with a narcissist that's set in their ways for real, like the most of the time, there's no talking them out of that. They're gonna always act the way about something when it comes to the thing that they're gonna act the way about. They have to be a child. You know what I'm saying? You got to chaperone them. Where you got to chaperone them and watch over them as if like you are the parent and they are the kid, and they expect that of you. They expect you to have them like that. For straight up, for real, to be honest with you, because it's situations where when they were younger, they were given this participation trophy, or they were just giving it for them to calm down. There was no consequence to their behavior and emotions, that this is not a right way to be acting. And they expect you to treat them in the same manner because it's been like this. That's why when they be coming to you at the beginning with these wild expectations about, wait, whoa, how long has this been going on? Wait, they've been what? And you'll sit here and ask yourself, especially with like the people that they've been with prior. It's like, wait a minute, whoa, wait, what was going on? What was okay? and you bringing this here, and they try to train you into that concept too to be people that you're not. You know what I'm saying? Because they'll shame you about something into being the way that they want you to be. You know, your style of clothing, and you know, the way that you speak and the way that you behave and who you be friends with. They'll shame you into the way they want you to be. Like straight up. They also just play mature. They play like they're really like the the deepest people out here. Like that's why you ever notice when y'all be having or you be trying to have a I don't know, an intellectual conversation, right? And it's like they're listening, but it's like a deer in headlights face. Like they have no idea. And then when you finish, you know, they're just sitting here like, wait, what? But when you have these conversations with other people that may be in the same, you know, interest of the sorts, what my emphasis is, they'll pretend to be in the interest so that they can mirror you, so that you can feel like they're you. You know what I'm saying? When in reality, they're not about this life. They're not cut from this cloth. This is not what they do. They're just here making you think that they've been into this. They're not. They have not been into whatever your talent that you're showing. They're displaying. Oh, I like that talent too. I do this too. You don't do this. You don't do this at all. It's just they'll play as if they have this high intellectual skill, you know. And some narcissists can get hip to the square about being able to mirror people well on the spot, you know. But when it's you one on one, like they mirror you well, they mirror you very well, and they'll get you to believe that they're a certain way mentally, and they're not. They sure aren't. That's why when you get around them, and it's not to be mean when I say this, but when you get around them and they flying monkeys, and they talking about something that's completely so like, what? This is the kind of stuff y'all be talking about. Like this is stuff y'all be talking about, you know. And like you ask yourself, dang, what else could possibly, like, if you was a fly on the wall and they would sit here talking, man, just even more wilder stuff that they done behind your back that you don't even know, you know. But they play that role, they put that mask on in front of you to make you believe that their maturity is at matching yours, you know, their behavior skills, how they perceive people, the way you perceive people. They're not this not they're not they just do the mirroring well. They do the mirroring very well. They're very immature. You really notice it at the beginning, have your own, because they show you how they are so they can get you, so they can, like I told you, they try to see how comfortable they can get you to how they really are in those minor small situations. You just don't think about it. You overlook, you know, pretending to be mature, and they're not like that. They're not. They will make you feel like as if like you can trust them, you know, for real. And it's wild. You ever watch Terminator, you know, and they be wearing people, but they be robots, man. It be like that. They be undercover. They be the Decepticons. What bro be saying, you know, deceiving you, making you feel as if like they have that intellectual value. You know, they're into that thing, making you feel as if such that I found my soulmate. You know, I found somebody that reads books just like me. They don't be doing that when you be going over their houses. All the stuff that you be saying that they be saying that they do, it just be sitting up on the shelf somewhere collecting dust. For real, for real. Or you went to books, but all these books up here just sitting up here collecting dust. Or you went to this business, but all this business stuff that you've gathered is just sitting here collecting dust. Like pretending to be an individual that you should respect just based off the story they gave you, the mask they wear in front of you. They pretend to be about their life like they like that. And you'll notice like a lot of times, especially when you start to peep that the habits and what they say don't match, when you start to really add up what they say and what they do is two different things, because you take what they say so much so hard, and that's truth. You take it serious because you want to be able to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're actually telling you the truth or not. Their actions going to tell you what it is. That's why it's so confusing, because you was trying to hear the truth. You know what I'm saying? You was like, why are they doing this thing? Because they want to. They wouldn't have chose to do it if they didn't want to do it. And if they want to cause you that kind of situation, that kind of stress to you, that kind of lack of consideration, they would have never done it. They pretend to be a created player for your team that's ranked 99. They pretend to be like that, man. It's not like that, because you'll feel it too, though. You'll feel like, dang, man, this is they really, you know what I'm saying? Okay, this is cool. Nah, you just get suckered in, man. They future fake you. They hype you up, gaslight you. They not really like that. And they'll quickly show that same attention and affection for somebody else, estranged, paradoxical, weird relationships with these people that they've traumatically bonded with. They're trying to uphold those social images with everybody. That's why they try to keep the supply wherever they got to act a certain way with the supply at a certain club and all the sorts of things. That's why they do that. That's why they act completely different when you ever notice when they talk to new supply or talk about it's a completely different individual. That's because they're mirroring them. When they show you that kind of energy, that's how the new supply is. That's how you know when the new supply is like out of control. They daggone self, because they're mirroring them when they're sitting here acting different. Like, you peep it out straight up, and it's like, dang, no, they're acting like them. They're trying to act like whoever it is that they need to do in order to monkey branch to wherever it is they need to go to. That's going to give them the hype, the thrill, the fun, the seeking, that whatever lifestyle they dream themselves into by doing this thrill seeking. You know what I'm saying? At the expense of the relationship. It doesn't matter to them about how you feel. Are you going to give them the ice cream when they're throwing a temper tantrum? Are you going to give me the toy anyway, mom? No, I'm just playing, dad. You know what I'm saying? That's how they be talking to you, though. They were saying the audacity of you to hold me accountable. When you should be thanking me that I'm even here anyway. They feel like they're doing you a favor. Narcissists be feel like they're doing you a favor, man, by existing in your world. You know what I'm saying? As the title of your companion. It's wild how they really be talking and thinking like that. And they show this behavior. They show you that they're thinking and talking like this. They show you and I, you know what I'm saying, you get so caught up in the system. It's hard to see it because you in it. You know what I'm saying? Until you have that, you think yourself out of it, and when you get out of it, you look at it like, dang, they were really childish individuals. Straight up, they was never going to grow up about anything. They've been doing this. They hang out with people like this that condone it. That's why they continue to do it. You don't really peep these things until you're out of it. You know what I'm saying? You start to understand, like, the environment that they put themselves in. They'll continue to do this to themselves no matter what the case may have you. They'll continue to be the child wherever it is that they can get away with that kind of behavior with. It doesn't matter who it is. It's, can you feed it? Can you feed me that reinforce that whimsical world of the narcissist? You know what I'm saying? The amazing world of narcissists. You know what I'm saying? Whatever cartoon, that's just how they that's how they really do that. That's why they chase it so heavenly. That's why they will continue to push the goalposts to see how much you will entertain them, because they need that. They need that rise and that reaction out of you because of their behavior. You tend to often see them exhaust other people, other supply, by doing that as well. Because the supplies get tired of it too. Whoever is condoning, they get tired of the behavior too at some point. That's a whole different video. But they will run, just attention into the ground from whoever. trying to get them to save them and pick them up, like a children, like just it's just that's really what it is. And you lose yourself, waiting on years for the narcissist to change. Sitting there trying to figure out, are they gonna grow up today? Are they gonna not be argumentative today? Can they just exist and be cool? That day never comes. And they push that day in all sorts of ways and events. When we get here, I'll be under my best behavior. That's how they talk. When we get to this event, whenever that event is, however that event is, when we get there, they'll be under their best behavior. And then you get a glimpse of how it can always be. And they go back to, hurting you. They go back to the same habits that it's easier for them to do in order to get their way, to have their cake and eat it too. And you get so, it stresses you out a lot. Like, it stresses you out a lot. Your health is severely suffered, dealing with this, for real, for real. Like stress, making yourself sick, stressing yourself to sleep, headaches, stomach hurting, no appetite, thinking about this all day, no matter what's in your face, replaying the same argument over and over and over, trying to figure out the truth somewhere. Because they're not going to give that truth to you either. They're going to definitely leave that out. They got to confuse you. And sometimes, and like for me, you start to see food as comfort. Like you eat comfort food, you know what I'm saying? Because you want to feel better some way, somehow. Like for real. Like that's why I said, like, your health and your fitness, that stuff starts to lack. You start to gain weight because you're stressed out. And you're sitting there, wherever it is, sulking, stressed out, trying to figure out why this narcissist is doing this to you. You know what I'm saying? Wasting years that could have been put into having a better mindset, having a better health and wellness, for your body, just having a better life. Not sitting there sleeping next to the narcissist, you know what I'm saying, wishing for a better life. With your back turned, they back turned to you while they on the phone talking to whoever, and your back turn, you just wishing for a better life. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it is. But for real, you waste a lot of time. So the wake up call is to take your time back and your power back. You got to put that into yourself, bro. Sis, you got to put that into yourself. You got to be able to regulate your attention on what matters and what's more important. What's more important is how you feel about yourself. You know what I'm saying? What's more important is not losing to yourself, trying to be the chaperone for somebody. You feel what I'm saying? You don't need to be the scapegoat for them or the savior for the narcissist. They're going to always do that to themselves no matter who it is. You can't stress yourself out about a behavior that can never change. You know what I'm saying? And if it does change, and however it does, it's not your goal. It doesn't need to be your goal to change them. You can't love them into changing. You can't help them grow up. They're gonna always make those kind of decisions. They're gonna always talk like that. They're gonna always behave like that. Whoever it is, however it is, what it is. It doesn't really matter, however you feel about it. At the end of the day, the child inside them that they have to continue to always seek out and give that thrill seeking to is going to be at the expense of their own sake. It's just what it is. To be honest with you, you and I both know what it is when they seek that thrill and when they need that, and how it compromises a lot of things around them that they don't even think about, because they can't see past the instant gratification. They can't see past that adrenaline and dopamine rush when they need people to recharge. You know what I'm saying? I gotta do this crazy. I gotta go to this crazy place because we're doing this thing. and it be unnecessary, and it's like they're putting themselves in harm's way on purpose for that thrill. And you start to peep it out over time. You start to peep out like, dang, you really can't relax without doing something reckless, and it's every week because they know that you're gonna save them. You know what I'm saying? You know you're gonna be the chaperone. You're gonna come pick them up, mom, dad. You know what I'm saying? I hate to be like that, man, but it's just the real, man. For real, for real. So many times where you trying to make sure that they don't go to tier 3 and it just go out of proportion, and they make you to blame for all of it. You're the reason that you made us miss this opportunity, made them miss this opportunity. You're the reason. But it was their behavior, it was how they're talking, it was how they're talking to people with that entitlement. They feel like they can do that with anybody. They can't. You can't let them behave how they want to. It just ain't got nothing to do with you, bro. Sis, it ain't got nothing to do with you. It's not your job to tell them to. You shouldn't have to tell another grown person to behave themselves. You know what I'm saying? And not act like that. They should have a sense of being an adult about things, but they can't. That's why they'll always run to anybody else that condones the behavior and reinforces that imagination that they have where you got to be the puppet in their show. But what I want you to do is you just need to continually, daily stacking wins for yourself. You feel me? Because remember, you're not the kid in this story. You'll continue to always grow. You feel me? So I hope this message finds you well. I'm Fonzie Murph, and I'm out. Peace.